Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be installing this really amazing car pack in year 2021. Let's go ahead and get started. Hey guys, Benzo here. We're going to be installing a really cool epic car pack made by Ripple, and then also I'm going to come back and timestamp every single part of this video so that you guys can kind of break it down and come back and rewatch it if you need to. So we're going to do this the fastest way and the most easiest way, but most importantly, the correct way to how to do this. I'm going to put all the links for you down in the description as well as a pinned comment. We're going to be downloading a car pack by Ripple. We're also going to download OpenIV, ScriptTook, Emergency Lighting System, otherwise known as ELS, a better Radiance, and enhanced environmental lighting. You're not going to want to miss today's video. Let's get started. Now we're going to be downloading this ELS LCSO Liberty Pack by Ripple. It's probably one of the better type models that's on the site right now. And I chose this for a good reason because Ripple does a great job with both interior and exteriors and also epic lighting. So we're going to go ahead and download this particular pack right here. We're going to go onto the LSPDFR.com site. When you download the file, you're going to have a selection of two different files. I'm going to come back and make a video about an LCSO pack add-on a little bit later. That one's a little bit extra to kind of download that and get it installed properly. But for now, we're going to download the main file and get it onto our desktop. Okay, next we're going to download OpenIV. Some people say Open4. We're going to download straight from their site, OpenIV.com. The next thing we need is ScriptTook V. Some people say ScriptTook 5. As of the making this video, it's December 2020. This is the most up-to-date one. I'm making this video in January 2021. But go ahead and download this particular thing from their site. Okay, next up is Emergency Lighting System, otherwise known as ELS, made by Lieutenant Kane. This is a must-have to get your lights to function properly. And then also want to point out that the modders of LSPDFR.com put a special note on for you guys. It's highlighted in green here. Some antivirus software flags ELS as unsafe. We have independently verified there's nothing unsafe about ELS. You may need to whitelist the folder or disable your antivirus software. We're going to go ahead and download this right here and right there, and then just make sure you just agree and download. I would get the latest version. Okay, next up is Better Radiance version 2. Now, in my opinion, I have tried a lot of different visual elements out there to make your lights brighter, especially during the daytime and also during the nighttime. Radiance V, in my opinion, is way too bright. It makes things way too bright. I have found that Better Radiance version 2 is by far the best one, and you definitely want to go ahead and get this. This is by Matthew Skeed, and we're going to go ahead and download this particular file right here. Okay, next up is ELS Increased Environmental Lighting. Now this is something that you don't have to install necessarily, but if you really want to get those really good light blooms reflected off of rocks, building, streets, things like that, I'm showing you a kind of video what it looks like in game. In my opinion, this is a must-have, especially if you're doing night patrols and things like that. It really adds a lot of immersion to your game. So let's go ahead and download this one as well. Okay, we have several downloads onto our desktop right now, and by the way, this is why this video is timestamped, because if you're already used to working with OpenIV, you already know how to install it and work with it, and then also know how to install ScriptTook and these kinds of things. You can always come back and rewatch the video or just skip to that part of the video that you need. So what we need to do first is find our main game directory. I'm going to go ahead and list out 3 of the most common pathways that most people have when they install GTA 5, and that is going to be on the screen right now. So this is for Steam users, the most common pathway, default, and the next one is going to be for retail users, and the third one is going to be for Epic Games users. So those are where the main pathways are. Please note yours may be on a different drive, but chances are if you put it on a different drive, you already kind of know how to get there. So we're going to go ahead and pull up our main game directory. This is what mine looks like. I'm sure my pathway probably looks a little bit different than yours. And then you'll notice what we need to do first is we need to have a mods folder. It's super important to have a mods folder to work only inside the mods folder. I get a lot of questions asked on YouTube comments can I install this without a mods folder? The answer is yes. If you want to corrupt your game and completely ruin it. So my advice is to create a mods folder. We're going to right click inside the main game directory. We're going to go down to new. We're going to go to folder. And then we're just going to call this simply mods. It needs to be named exactly like that, MODS. The next step, what we want to do is get the update folder into the mods folder. You don't want to drag it in there. You want to literally copy it. My update folder is 44 gigs. It's a lot of space. You're going to thank me later. So we're going to left click on update, and we're going to right click. We're going to copy. the entire update folder. We're going to go into the mods folder, double click. Notice it's empty at the moment. We're going to right click and we're going to paste. So we're going to copy this over and we're going to get started with the next step. Okay, update folder is copied over. We're going to back up a little bit and we're going to get into the main game directory. We're going to reduce this, don't close it out yet. And then the next thing we're going to do is install OpenIV. So it's pretty simple. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that. We're going to fire up OpenIV. We're going to go ahead and run it. And then mine's in English. We're going to accept the terms. Now this just shows you where it needs to actually install the program to. I'm going to go ahead and create a desktop icon and we're going to go ahead and click on Run IV after installation. So we're just going to click on Continue and we're going to say yes to that. We're going to go ahead and close and then we're going to go ahead and click on Windows. And then we need to find the GTA 5V location. So the Grand Theft Auto 5 EXE, we need to browse to that location. Mine's going to be in a different pathway, but if you've already opened up your main game directory, you already know how to get there. And you should get a green message right here. If it's in red, that means that you do not have the correct pathway where GTA 5 EXE is located at. So make sure you go back and maybe watch that part of the video where your default pathway is. We're going to go ahead and continue. And then don't forget to back up your original files before editing. This is why we actually go into the mods folder, so we don't have to really worry about that too much. We're going to go ahead and continue. And you should end up with something that looks sort of like this right here. So notice the mods folder is going to be purple, and I just have the update folder in there. Okay, OpenIV is installed. We're going to go ahead and reduce this. And then we're going to go ahead and start grabbing other things right here. We're going to start with ScriptHook first. We're going to bring up our main game directory. This is pretty simple. We're going to bring up ScriptHook. We're going to take the bin folder, move it onto the desktop. Files seem to transfer a little bit easier that way. And we're going to take this bin folder right here and we're going to open this up. Now, personally, I don't like to use native trainer. I use simple trainer, but we're going to take the Denput 8 and the ScriptHook V. Some people say ScriptHook 5. We're going to move it right into our main game directory. I already have it installed, but if you're updating, you can always do the same thing. Drag and drop. We're going to replace those files right there. Now we're done with ScriptHook. The next step is we're going to install ELS. So we're going to pull up ELS. And now, one important thing to note here, if you are wanting to learn about ELS, it's emergency lighting system. I'm not going to go through the entire thing, but you can see J key will actually activate the lights. I'm not going to go through all of this because you can see there's a lot of things right here. So make sure you read the documentation, guys. So we're going to take the installation files. I'm going to go ahead and move it right onto the desktop. And you do that sometimes because sometimes you'll get some error messages with WinRAR and things like that, and also 7-zip. So my advice is to bring the installation files onto the desktop. We're going to go ahead and open this up. And then you'll notice a little pathway here. It says Grand Theft Auto 5. And you notice that you have a folder called Grand Theft Auto 5 because it's going to literally go into this. I would not drag the whole folder. Go ahead and open it up. And you're going to literally take these files. It's going to go right into your main game directory. You're going to highlight every one of these. And I already have it installed, but you're going to drag and you're going to drop it right here and you're going to let it fall. And so I already have it installed. There's no reason for me to reinstall it, but you're going to go ahead and just install it just like that. And you're going to let it fall. Okay, the next step is increase environmental lighting. That, like I said, this is optional. You don't have to install this, by the way. Personally, I love to do this. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. It's going to get a little bit confusing because we're going to go ahead and drag this back onto our desktop, by the way. It's going to get a little bit confusing because you're going to see a lot of different, files. Like which one, Benzo, which one do I install? Just the one that says bright plus reduced range, and the list kind of goes on here. So this is just my advice. A lot of these ELS vehicles have a really bright traffic advisors and things like that. And it gets a little bit sometimes too reflective. So this is the one that I pick. You don't have to do this, but you can see it says brighter plus reduced traffic advisors. Now that's just my advice there. If you want to do that, I really like the brighter effect personally. So I'm going to double click that one and notice it's just an ELS configuration file. If you look close at your main game directory, you have one of these already. We're going to take this ELS config. We're going to drag it right into the main game directory and you're going to allow it to overwrite. So just replace and you're done. Okay, we have two files left on our desktop. That's going to be the LCSO Liberty Pack by Ripple and then a Better Radiance. We need to get these both into the OpenIV. So my advice is go ahead and reduce the main game directory. And then we're going to pull up OpenIV and then it should look something sort of like this. And then we're going to go ahead and open up the LCSO Liberty Pack. Now note it's a RAR file, so you might need WinRAR, that's free off the internet, or you can use 7-zip, something like that. My advice is to take the folder itself, go ahead and move it onto the desktop. We're going to go ahead and open up the actual folder here. you're going to see some main files right here. One of them is going to be a meta file, which we'll talk about in just a moment. You're going to see another folder here called templates. You don't have to worry about that. You're not going to be really installing that. Ripple is nice enough to show the templates if you ever want to come back and figure out how to do liveries, which are the paint jobs. So what we're going to be focusing on the most is the meta file in a minute, the VCFs, and the actual vehicle files. So the VCFs basically are ELS files. This tells the lights how to behave, how to flash, what kind of colors to use, and these kinds of things. So we definitely need to install this. And also I want to make this important announcement here. When you download a new car pack, you're going to have to install those particular VCFs or XML files, or the ELS files for that particular vehicle, and do exactly the same thing I'm doing now into what I'm about to show you. So if you pull up the VCFs, these are the XML files right here. So we have FBI 2, police 2, police 3, police 4. We have a police old 1. We have a sheriff and a sheriff 2. We're going to go ahead and install all of these vehicles into OpenIV. And then what we want to do is get this into the ELS folder. Now there's two ways to go about doing this. You can do it through OpenIV. You can see the ELS right there, that folder right there. You can do it through there. Just be aware that OpenIV is very unforgiving, meaning that it won't tell you that it's going to overwrite anything. The only time you get that kind of message is when you're in your main game directory. So I'm going to show you that as well. So if you pull up your main game directory, you're going to see a ELS folder right there that we just installed as well. So if you double click this, you're going to see a pack_default. So this is where the actual files go into. So when you open this for the very first time, you may see something that looks sort of like this. You'll have a police one there by default. And, you're going to be replacing that anyway, because we have one right here. We're going to be dragging into here in just a moment. But however, I like to work with ELS personally inside the OpenIV. So once again, make sure you're in your ELS folder. You can see there to the left, you're going to see a pack_default. We're going to double click that, and then we're going to be dragging these into here. However, I'm going to show you something really cool, because once you're get used to installing all of this stuff, you're going to be back and forth and dragging vehicles in and out, things of that nature when you get really good at this. So my advice is to make this a favorite pathway. So what I mean by that is you can see the pathway right there is pretty easy. It's just GTA 5 and then ELS and then pack_default. But why don't we go ahead and make this an actual favorite? Go ahead and go to add to favorites, and then we're going to name this ELS files here, just like that. If you're in here and you just want to install an ELS file real quick, go to favorite. You can see it right there. Goes right into there, and you just drag and drop. Pretty simple, pretty easy. So what we're going to do is going to go right into this. So we're going to highlight every single one of these XML file documents. We're going to drag and drop it right into here, but you'll notice it's got a black circle with a line through it. That is because we need to turn edit mode on. Very important. So we're going to turn edit mode on. You're going to get a little message. Click yes, and then once again, highlight every one of these, and we're going to drag and drop it right into here. And it's going to fill it up nice and neat. We already have our favorite pathway, so that's done. So the next step is to get the vehicles into OpenIV. So I'm going to show you the pathway for that. Okay, onto vehicle install. This is actually kind of simple once you get the hang of this. It takes a little bit of practice, and Ripple actually included a README in here. Now he's actually got the install path for you right here, and I'm going to go ahead and say something a little bit controversial on the way that I do my videos, is that I like to use patch day 24. Now some YouTubers out there will suggest patch day 20. I know for a fact patch day 20 will work, and I know for a fact that patch day 22 will work as well. What I want you to get in the habit is, if you download an old vehicle pack and maybe it's 2 or 3 years old, if it says use patch day 3 or use patch day 8, don't do that, because I know I get some YouTubers that'll say in the comment section saying, well, patch day 3 or patch day 8 usually works for me. Benzo Windy always suggests the later patch days. My advice is don't do that, because Rockstar's updates will sometimes overwrite those. So my advice is to use the one I'm going to show you. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to get there. It's pretty simple. So I just go ahead and follow the same pathway I'm going to do. I'm going to go slow real fast. We're going to go into the mods folder, and then we're going to go to update. We're going to go to times 64. and we're going to go to DLC packs. Now, if you copied over your entire update folder, it should look something sort of like this, and you can see all the patch days down here. So like I said, patch day 20 will work, so I'm not going to take away from that. Patch day 22 is confirmed to work because I did that on my other video, but I'm going to tell you that patch day 23 screwed up a lot of things, and patch day 23 did not work for some reason, and that had to do with the Rockstar update. So just maybe, focus on what I'm about to show you is patch day 24 NG will work for you. So we're going to go ahead and go into patch day 24. We're going to go to dlc.rpf. We're going to go to times 64. We're going to go to levels. And then don't get confused with this one. Make sure you're going into GTA 5, this folder right here. And then you're going to go into vehicles, just like that. You're going to see some older vehicles right here. That is because Rockstar needs those for the game to function correctly. So disregard those vehicles, leave them be. Don't touch them, don't delete them, don't do anything like that. The next step is a pro tip from me, is you want to get to this pathway because you want to be able to replace vehicles in the future. Maybe vehicles are not working properly. Maybe you don't like a vehicle. You can actually simply come back and delete them out. So what you want to do is go to favorites, go to add to favorites. And then this is what I like to do is say vehicles here, patch day 24, something like that. That way it'll trigger your knowledge as to where to go for this particular pathway. Because if you, for example, are in your mods folder and you want to get to your cars easily, go to favorites, vehicles here, patch day 24, boom, there. Bruh. Hopefully that deserves a little like on the video, I'm just saying. So we're going to go ahead and get the vehicles into the game. So we're going to open up the vehicle pack, the vehicle folder. You're going to see several folders here. Now, it's important to note, you don't have to install all of these. Personally, I like to, have a full fleet of vehicles when I'm patrolling around certain areas. So one thing I do want to note for you today, guys, is that some of these vehicles, notice this is a sheriff pack. So this is going to replace the police slot. Now, you do not have to have this particular one if you don't want it. As a matter of fact, sometimes I like to just throw in a couple of vehicles for the sheriff slot and the sheriff 2 slot. So that way, if I'm out patrolling, upper part of the county, I will just have those particular vehicles patrolling around me. And then I'll have LSPD units in the city and things like that. But if you like to spawn these kind of things and kind of play around a little bit, you can go ahead and do what I'm about to show you right here. So we're going to go ahead and grab every one of these files, just like this, and we're going to drag and drop right into OpenIV. Now, chances are you may not have edit mode on, so I'm going to show you what it looks like. If you highlight those and drag and drop these in here, you're going to get a kind of a circle with a line through it. That's because edit mode needs to be on. So turn on edit mode. You're going to get a little message there, say yes, and then once again, we're going to highlight every one of these, and we're going to drag and drop, and it's going to end up just like this. We're going to move on to the next folder. Okay, the next vehicle we're going to install is a Chevy Capri, and we're going to highlight this, and we're going to do the same thing, highlight every one of those, and drag and drop. Simple as that. One little important thing I was going to kind of show you that's kind of cool is that if it's a .yft, you can actually double click this, and you can actually see what it looks like in game. You can turn it around and then see what it looks like in game. Now, one thing important to note here, the way that this editor is, the model viewer, you're not going to see a tire, right here. And then in some cases, you may see a tire, like way over here. Okay, don't let that worry you. I've had that happen many times, a lot of comments saying that, is this normal? Completely normal for the actual model viewer to look like that. So this is what the Chevy Capri looks like in game. So we're going to back out, and we're going to do the same thing with these other vehicles as well. Here's a Chevy Tahoe, and that is a 2014. This is going to go into the Sheriff 2 slot. Drag and drop, back out, Dodge Charger, Police 4 slot, drag and drop. This is a Ford Explorer. Now this is going to be the Police Old 1. Now typically you're not going to find this in game. This is going to be more North Yankton. However, you can spawn these in game if you'd like. I do it all the time on streams. Drag and drop, 2018 Charger. And once again, this is the Police 2 slot. Drag and drop. Here's a 2020 Tahoe. It's pretty epic. It's going to be the FBI 2 slot. We're going to drag and drop. And then we have the 2020 Ford Explorer. Looks pretty nice. It's going to be in the Police 3 slot. And you're going to drag and drop. Okay, the next step is to install the meta file. Now, I'm glad I picked this particular vehicle pack because he actually included a meta file with his vehicle pack. We're going to go to mods folder again. We're going to go to update, update RPF. and then we're going to go to Common. We're going to go to Data. We're going to go to Levels, and then we're going to go to GTA file folder. So this is where your vehicle meta file is right here. So we're going to go to the favorites. We're going to go to Add Favorites, and we're going to call this vehicle meta file here. Simple as that. So now when we come back, once again, I'm going to show you real quick in case you skipped part of the video, mods, and then say you got a new vehicle pack, you're installing things, and you want to grab the new vehicle meta file. What you do is go to Favorites, go to vehicle meta file here, you're already there. Boom. So now what we do is this is the particular vehicle meta file right here. It'll say compressed, it'll say encrypted. Now, sometimes the kilobytes do not change because these are very small files. They're very vital, but they're very small. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this particular vehicle meta file from Ripple. I'm going to drag it right into here. Once again, edit mode needs to be on. So we're going to drag and then watch this right here. The encrypted should change like that. And notice the kilobytes did not change. That's because we're dealing with extremely small files. So that's all you really need to do to that right there. So we just installed the actual vehicle meta file. Okay, last but not least, we need to install a better Radiance. Super important to install this to make your police lights a lot brighter during the daytime and as well as the nighttime. So we're going to go ahead and open this file right here. We're going to take the folder, move it onto our desktop. We don't need the zip file anymore. We're going to move this folder back over here. Now, it's super important that if you've installed another visual mod like Visual V, Make Visuals Great Again, Natural Vision Remastered, Natural Vision Evolved, any kind of EMB shaders, these kinds of things. If you've installed that after you've done this, or maybe you just installed that thinking that your lights should be bright enough, the chances are your visual settings, which I'm about to show you how to install, is not good enough. So you need to come back and reinstall this particular one over your actual visual mods. Super important to do that, otherwise it won't work properly. The lights will be too dim. So we're going to go ahead and open this particular file. There's going to be 3 main folders, and you're going to want to install this one right here. It says Better Radiance Brighter Day Police Lights. So we're going to be installing that one. Now, there's one more important thing I want to show you on the README is that sometimes the taxi cabs, when you do these visual settings and things like that, the taxi cabs are extremely bright. So this modder here has included some files and stuff to kind of help with that. But I've got you covered, guys. If you've watched this video this long, go ahead and leave a little comment down in the comment section. It'll be between me and you, and say, you know, thank you, Benzo, for the taxi cab. And I'm going to show you really fast. I didn't include it at the very first of the video, but I'm including it now. And that's going to be a taxi cab that looks really nice, that doesn't look too glaring with the lights. So I'm going to show you that really fast. We're going to install that. I'm going to bring this down. This is between me and you, and let's see who comments down below. So improved taxi cab by Rogue, and we're going to take this bad boy, and it's installed just like any other vehicle. This goes for non-ELS vehicles as well. We're going to open this bad boy. Very simple. It's a model. It's a taxi. We're going to throw this right into our patch day 24. So guess what? You've already saved the favorite, right? So we're going to go right here, and you already got it. Take this, drag it right into here, and let it fall. You just installed it. Congrats. There we go. So we're going to take this and delete it out. That's between me and you guys. I want to see who comments down below. So now we're going to go into visual settings.dat file. Take this folder right here, and we need to get this into the game. So I'm going to show you how to do that really fast. You're going to go to mods. You're going to go to update. You're going to go to update RPF. You're going to go to common. You're going to go to data. And this is where your visual settings.dat is. To make sure you say this is a favorite, make sure you go to favorite. Go to add to favorites. And then you're going to call it whatever you'd like. In this case, I'll say visual settings.dat file here. Just like that. We're going to say add. So that way you can always come back. And once again, if you're here and you need to reinstall another visual settings, go to favorites, go to visual settings.dat file here, and you're right there. It's going to replace that one right there. Now, it's important to note, if you've kind of messed with these before, you may not see the encrypted disappear. I already have this installed, but just realize that the edit mode is on. That's super important. You take this file right here and just drag it right into your OpenIV, just like that, and you're done. Now, I already have this installed. Chances are, if you're installing it for the first time, you're going to see encrypted go away, and you're going to see the kilobytes change very, very small, but it's going to make all the difference in the world. And guys, you are done. That is it. So now I'm going to show you what it looks like in game. Let's go. Okay, here we are in game, guys. Now I'm going to go ahead and do something intentionally because I know I'm going to get some comments down in the YouTube comments saying their lights are still dim. So I'm going to go ahead and spawn a vehicle, and I did this intentionally. I'm going to spawn it through Rage, and we're just going to spawn, for example, the Police 2 right there. That is the Dodge Charger. So if I get into the vehicle, the lights are going to look still dim. Your lights are going to look something sort of like this if you're just installing this stuff for the very first time. That is because your post-effect settings need to be set to very high or ultra. So the way you do this is that you go into your game settings and then go to graphics, and you want to scroll down all the way to post-effects right there. And see how I went ahead and put mine to normal because I know I'm going to get this question asked. You can go to high, but I would suggest go to very high because that's going to actually make the lights a lot better. So you're going to go ahead and press the space bar to go ahead and keep these settings right here. We're going to press the enter key. And so now you'll notice that the lights are nice and bright. So that's how you get your post-effect settings set to very high or ultra. I don't see a lot of difference between very high and ultra, to be honest with you. So that is that particular vehicle right there. We're going to go ahead and spawn the rest of these. And it's done the same way. We're going to do the police slot, sheriff slot, police 3, police 4. It's a different year model of Charger. Spawn sheriff 2 slot. And then we're going to spawn the FBI 2. Just like that. Okay, one more to spawn here. That is a nice Explorer right there. And then once again with the ELS, you can read the documentation. It is the J key to get these to actually, go through the different lighting patterns. That's J, and then J again, and then J again. So that'll kind of get you through all that, and you can see that the lighting patterns look really nice. Now Ripple does a great job with this vehicle meta file. So for example, if for some reason your lights are still looking dim after the post-effect settings, you've got everything installed correctly, you've installed a better Radiance, and your lights still do not look great, they're really dull, they're very washed out. I'm going to show you one more little quick pro tip, and that is to actually clean the vehicle and take off the window tint. Some of these modders that actually upload their vehicle car packs, they forget to install or have you download or install a vehicle meta file. So sometimes there's tint left on the actual vehicle. So I'm going to show you how to take that off real fast. I use Simple Trainer. It's F3. I'm going to go to vehicle options. It's highlighted in green right there. Press the number pad 5 key for enter. And then what I would do first is clean the vehicle, make sure it's nice and clean. Sometimes that might help. If you go down to vehicle mod menu, press F5, I'm sorry, the number pad 5 again. And then if you look at the window tint, you can see right there highlighted in green. If you arrow to the right with your number pad 6 key, you're going to see pure black. Now, Ripple's pack, it doesn't change anything because he's really smart with the way he does things. But your car pack that you installed, maybe a different car pack, it may change it to all black. Don't let that worry you. Arrow back to the left with the number pad 4 key, and that should take all the window tint off your vehicle, especially around the light bars and stuff like that, and you should see a really nice vibrant light bar just like that. So then we're going to do number pad 0 key to exit out all these the actual menus, and then that particular pack is done. Okay, a quick pro tip from Benzo. You can skip this part of the video. You can actually go ahead and end the video right now. But if you want to learn how to change the lighting pattern real fast for ELS, I'm going to show you how to do this real fast. We're going to go ahead and exit out of there. And then if you want to change the lighting pattern, you can see that the traffic advisory is moving over to the left. And then also you can see that stage 2 lighting right there. That's the J key. And that's all full stage 3. Once again, you can do Alt plus J, get the full lighting pattern right there. That's all the lights right there. Now, one thing you can do is left Control P. It's going to pause the game for a second, and then press the Escape key, and you'll see a ELS menu over to the right. Now, if you press the Alt plus the I key, you're going to get a scan of your lighting patterns. Okay, so we're going to start with the traffic advisories right there. So Alt plus I will get you to the actual traffic advisories. If you press I again, you're going to get a different pattern there, and you can see there at the bottom of the right. and there's a ton of them. So you can actually go through here if you want, change a few things back and forth, and you can kind of get the idea. Just like that. So if you want to scan the actual patterns of your main light bar, you can see it looks like that. It is the Alt plus the U key, and you can see that it'll start changing. So when you press Alt plus U, it'll get you to the different lighting patterns, and then you just press the U key until you get to the lighting pattern that you like. Something that looks like that maybe. And then if you're happy with that, left Control P, get that off the screen, and then escape again. And that can get you through the different lighting patterns. That's just a little quick pro tip right there. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up today's video. Thank you guys so much. And if you got any kind of use out of today's video, anything in the slightest, be sure to hit a like button, guys. I greatly appreciate that. And leave a comment down below as it helps to rank a little bit higher on YouTube. And hey, if you're brand new, if I earned your subscription, I greatly appreciate that. And hit that sub button. You guys take care. We'll see you on the next patrol. Stay safe.